I fight any man in the world. I'm not the best. I'm just the guy you're willing to fight the best. And all who say they're the best, I claim the best, and the media say they're the best. I'm here to fight them, man. I'm not ducking or hiding from no man.
Okay, this is the 1-2 Kid, and we talking about welterweights today. That's right, we talking about welterweights today. And we talking about these up-and-coming welterweights, or these decent name welterweights underneath the Bud Crawford and the Errol Spence. That's what we talking about. We talking about the young lions. We talking about the vets, okay? We talking about the Boots Ennises, the Vergil Ortizes, the Connor Benns, the Keith Thurmans, and the Stanioneses. That's who we talking about. This is what these guys got to do. First off, I'm going to start off by telling them to do just this one thing. Keep Bud Crawford and Errol Spence's name out your mouth. Why? Because it's cap. There's no real reason that these guys are going to fight you, because they're fighting for undisputed. And they're pretty much locked down. They're going to be locked down because it's going to take time to do this promotion. And if they get a rematch, guess what? That's going to take more time for you to try to get a title shot or to get into contention to fight one of these big names. You do understand that. And then guess what? They're leaving. They're moving up to 154. So stop talking about them. Stop talking about them. If you do want to fight with one of these guys, there is a possible way to do it, but I'll get into that later in the video. Now, with that being said, what you guys need to start doing is calling each other out, fighting one another. We all know that these titles are going to be trickling down, but it's going to take a minute, right? But what you can do is establish yourself as the #1 welterweight in the division right now by calling each other out and getting in the ring with one another and scrapping it up. Because even if you don't get a title, motherfuckers going to say, yo, this dude is getting ducked. These guys are ducking this guy. This guy's the #1 guy. All right? So who's the guy you want to call out? Definitely one of the other young lions, or let's talk about Keith one-time Thurman. Why? Because he's got the most experience in the division. Okay? So this is the guy that you're going to want to go after. What a hell of a notch to have under your belt if you beat this guy and prior to getting the championship. You know what I'm saying? And everything might be locked down for 1.5 to 2 years, those titles. So go after this guy. And Keith Thurman, he should be calling out all the young bucks as well. Why? Because Keith Thurman, does he got power? Yeah, he's got power. Does he got experience? Yeah, he's got experience. Yeah, does he got skill set? Sure does. And you know what he relies on mostly? His athleticism. That's right. So he needs to hurry up and jump on these young lions right now, because you want to do it sooner than later. Why? Because athleticism is the first thing to go, son. You do understand that, right? One time. So you want to get these guys while they're still green. You don't want to get them 1 to 2 years later on, because they're just going to be better. And that's going to increase the odds of you not winning. Do you understand that? So keep that in mind. If you want to establish yourself as the #1 welterweight right now, get in the mix as of now and be that guy. Be the people's champ. This guy that everyone's saying, why ain't nobody fighting this guy? This guy's the man. This is the guy that's beating everybody down. This the boogeyman. This the guy. The people's champ. Right. Now, if you want Errol Spence and Bud Crawford, or a big name fighter, then what are you going to have to do?
1-2 Kid, what are you going to have to do to get a shot with one of these guys?
Ding, ding, ding. This is exactly what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to move it on up to 154. That's right. Move it up to 154 before these guys even get their feet wet there. You know why? Because you're going to get up there, and there's not a lot of big names at 154, so the sanctioning bodies who like sanctioning fees is going to push you up the rankings extremely fast if you're a decent name. So you will be knocking on the door when these dudes do step into 154, and you don't want to follow them to 154, because why would they want to fight a blown up welterweight to get their feet wet? Just saying. But you might be the Mando for the winner of the Undisputed Championship. So you might find yourself in there with a Castano. You might find yourself in there with a Jermell Charlo. You might find yourself in there with a Errol Spence or a Bud Crawford, or one of the losers of these fights that will put you on a higher status to where you're constantly knocking on the door.
This is the 1-2 Kid, and I'd like to know what your thoughts are. Please leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Like the channel. These things help out so that I can continue to make videos like this. This is the 1-2 Kid signing out. Have a good one, y'all.